We have two Fokker triplanes running up on the field now, testing their machine guns. If the Black Baron is indeed challenging Sir Percy, to an aerial duel, it's quite apparent that he's cheating again, as it'll be 2 against 1. The second Fokker triplane, flown by the Baron's henchman, Lieutenant Klaus Devender. This airplane is painted in the standard factory-applied camouflage of most Fokker triplanes. The Fokker triplane, arguably the most famous airplane of World War I, but not the most numerous. They only built 320 of them, and they were only in combat for a relatively short period of time. When they first came out, they were world beaters. The idea was to have 3 wings producing as much lift as 2 really long wings. But by making the wings shorter, the airplane would be much more maneuverable. And so the airplane has short wings, it has a short fuselage, designed for maneuverability and quick climbing, and that was what it was known for. It could climb very rapidly above its adversaries, and it could maneuver, as the Red Baron put it, can climb like a monkey and maneuver like the devil. And that was the idea. The problem with the triplane was, number one, it was very difficult to fly. It didn't want to fly straight and level, it wanted to maneuver all the time. And number 2, it was relatively slow compared to other fighters of its day. Those 3 wings created some extra drag, and that made the triplane's top speed only 103 miles an hour. Remember that I said the Spad's top speed was 120. So relatively slow, but quick climbing, highly maneuverable. When the much improved Fokker D7 came out at the beginning of 1918, the Fokker triplane was quickly relegated to some of the lesser squadrons, came into popular use, much easier to fly. And here's the Black Baron taking to the skies in his red and black Fokker DR-1 triplane. That was quite a showy takeoff. Apparently he's still trying to impress Trudy wherever she is. And the Black Baron circles back. To give you an idea of just how maneuverable this triplane really is. And next to take off, the Baron's henchman, Lieutenant Klaus Devender. Now, crashing into position. This time it's Sir Percy in the Spad 7. And his squadron mate, Reginald Buckingham, in the Bristol fighter. So I guess it is pretty even. 2 triplanes against the Spad and a Bristol fighter. The Bristol fighter, the 275 horsepower Rolls-Royce V12 engine, was extremely fast for a 2-seat airplane, and it was pretty maneuverable as well. So you had a fast airplane with a forward-firing machine gun that could maneuver almost as well as a single-seat fighter, plus it has the Stinger in the tail, an observer with twin Lewis machine guns firing backwards. Most other fighters obviously didn't have rear firing guns. The idea was to get behind your enemy where he could not shoot you and shoot him down from behind. That won't work when you're up against a Bristol fighter. And again, something you very seldom see, two Fokker triplanes in the air at the same time. 6 wings flying overhead, but only 2 airplanes. Lieutenant Buckingham taking to the side once again. And the Black Baron seems to have spotted the Bristol fighter already as Sir Percy Goodfellow takes to the skies in the SPAD 7. Here we are recreating the conditions of the Western Front in France in 1917. 2 Fokker triplanes, a Bristol fighter and a SPAD, about to engage in aerial combat. As I said, the standard tactic with these forward-firing machine guns that are synchronized to fire through the propeller without actually hitting the propeller blades means all you have to do is aim your airplane at the enemy and you're aiming the guns. The Bristol fighter now firing on that first triplane. Not doing too much base of that. Certainly can't outrun a Bristol fighter in a triplane. Much too slow, but the tables have turned. Bristol turned mistakenly inside the triplane circle, and now the triplane is on the Bristol's tail. Old Klaus has a surprise, though. That Bristol fighter's not defenseless from the tail. Oh, the Bristol's been hit. And the Bristol's going down behind the trees. Score 1 for the Baron squadron. Sir Percy now is on the tail of that Fokker triplane. He's following Klaus Dervinder very closely. Lining up, hopefully going to shoot down the pilot that shot down his own squadron mate. But the Black Baron getting into the fray now. Sir Percy firing. German Lieutenant obviously not as skilled a fighter as he might be, not taking full advantage of the maneuverability of that triplane. So Percy's right on his tail. And we have the Bristol fighter coming in for a landing, ground crew. Uh-oh, here comes the Black Baron diving on Sir Percy's tail. Now things are going to get a little tough for Percy. Apparently he shot down Klaus Dervinder. This is a real dogfight developing now. 2 airplanes beginning what was typical of a dogfight, a circling battle, each one trying to get behind on the tail of his opponent, where he can shoot, but his opponent can't shoot back. SPAD faster, but not nearly as maneuverable as the triplane. The Germans called this kind of a battle a Kurvenkampf, or turning battle. And unfortunately for the Baron, he's turned a little too tightly, and now that Sir Percy is on his tail. This is Sir Percy's chance. Superior speed, he's catching up with the Baron. Baron jinking back and forth, trying to avoid Sir Percy's bullets. We've got anti-aircraft in the air now. It's anti-aircraft fire from the ground. It was usually notoriously inaccurate in World War I. Closing in on the Baron's tail. Circle tightens. The Baron slides to the outside, and now he comes for Percy's tail again.
Alright. Let's go.
Lieutenant Klaus on the ground. Brian Coughlin, to be exact, in his Fokker triplane that he built and reintroduced to the show just this year. And the aircraft is up. Baron's on Sir Percy's tail. The Baron breaks off. Sir Percy continues to fly straight ahead. Does the Baron run out of ammunition? Is that the end of this dogfight? It's just going to be a draw? Anti-aircraft, by the way, as I said, was extremely inaccurate in World War I. The British referred to it as Archie, and that's because of a very popular British stage musical song at the beginning of World War I. The song was about a young fellow who was making advances to a girl who kept repeating, "Archibald, certainly not." And so when the pilots saw how inaccurate German anti-aircraft fire was, they said, "Archibald, certainly not." And it became known as Archie. Archie's up. We've got two airplanes on a head-on pass. Each one firing at the other. Who's going to chicken out first? The Baron's been hit. So Percy shoots down the evil Black Baron. And the Baron diving vertically into the ground. It looks like the end of the evil Black Baron of Rhinebeck. And here comes Sir Percy Goodfellow.
It was over there.
Triumphant
It was way over there
flyby,
doing circles.
waggling his wings. It's a signal to the ground. Victor in aerial combat. He's coming back.
Ready?
They're supposedly